Alright, good morning. It's Tuesday morning. It's about 8:30. We got a ton of rain again last night. Everything's even more flooded than yesterday. So I ended up calling off the guys, but the load of base I was talking about in yesterday's video is supposed to be here any minute now. So I'm waiting on that, and then I'll try and get something done, but it is super muddy, so I don't know how it's gonna look. So we'll see what happens. It's supposed to be dry today till tonight, so hopefully that's true and I can get more base in and just continue to get that done, because otherwise I'm kind of stuck. Can't really do much right now with the weather like this. So it's a rough start, but we'll see what we can do. Look at all this water is flowing. Alright, base is delivered. So we got another 45 yards to work with now. So we'll get some loaded up and see how the job's looking. Gotta do a quick pass off because of how muddy it is, to keep the machines separate. Have the clean machine, not in the mud, bringing gravel. So where the track machine can stay dirty in the mud. Works out. Nice full bucket of clean stone for up by the basement door. Alright, lunchtime update. Just finished eating lunch. Super muddy today, as you can see. Had to end up pumping out the water over there, so that was kind of a pain, but got a good amount of basin now. Enough to where I kind of want to let this dry out a little bit because it's a little bit too wet. So I'm gonna start with this bottom because it's firmer, and dig out a little bit further back over here and over there so that I can put my first step in, and then I can start building up from there and figuring out my heights, and then figure out where I need to be to start building stuff over here, and then eventually keep building this up. So it's a little bit squishy right now, even though we've been packing it in, just because it's so wet, which is not a problem. In the long run, it'll harden up, but right now it's making for it taking a little bit too long. So I'm trying to find something different to do so that it can firm up a little bit, so that I don't put too much in at once. Alright, just got the first step in. So I gotta build up the base to the top of this now before I can start building the next step to go up. So this is the look of it. And this stone right here, if you notice, is different than this stone here, because since this stone, or this landing, is below, there's nowhere for the water to drain. So what we did is we dug down deep enough to where once it all fills up, it's all permeable stone to go all the way down into the sump pump line that goes all the way around, just like this, and then it'll lead into that tube there, which we have to cut that down, and that's kind of like a backup sump pump area, because that area has nowhere to drain and this area has nowhere to drain. So if this all ever were to flood, that's our backup plan. But it shouldn't, because it all drains into the sump pump line and gets pumped out. So that's where we're looking like here. The sun's trying to poke out, but it's still cloudy, so it's still wet. So what's working out is bringing stone from the pile dumping it on here and then spreading it with that so that I'm not getting mud mixed in with the stone. The stone, it does seem to be firming up a little bit, which is good because I'm hoping I can start to build the next wall. I just need to feel confident that this stone isn't going to settle at all, which I don't think it will, but looking good so far. So now I just got to bring in some more base, build all this up, and go from there. Alright, so that finishes off today's video. It's actually almost 9 o'clock. We stayed late to try and finish up, so I didn't get any clips of how it ended up looking. We got I showed you the first step coming out, and then I think you saw in the time lapse building the first long step. So that's basically where we got, and then we put some more base in on top of the first step. There's a pretty bad storms coming tomorrow, so that's why we stayed late to try and get the base smoothed in and graded away from the house so that it hopefully doesn't hold a lot of water and the base can dry out and firm up, because it's still a little bit squishy, but I think it'll be all right. I think it works out that it's actually so wet because it'll make it hard like concrete once it dries. So, but that ends out today's video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks.